Rev up your engines! All right, lots of people are looking for three-row SUV. Ford sold over 167,000 of these in 2024, making it the largest selling three-row SUV in the United States. And they've sold, I believe, 8 million Explorers so far. Some people love them, some people hate them. This guy happens to love his, but let's go into the analysis of this so you can learn all about them, whether you want to buy one, new or used, and which one you should buy. Now, he bought this used. And luckily, he bought it from this Vroom place. They have a Vroom warranty. And he bought it with 56,000 and the transmission went out at 60. Now, I'll give it to the Vroom guys. They did replace the transmission. They said the gears and everything were broken. And yes, it is that 10-speed automatic that they've had problems with. They did put a new transmission in. After 6 months. It took us 6 months for them to fix the thing. Luckily, he had another Ford. He had a Fusion that he likes, and he drove that instead. They weren't giving him a rental car, but they did put a brand new transmission and drive axles in the thing. So I'll give him that. But would you want to buy a vehicle with 56 and then at 60 the transmission blows up? If you hadn't bought that warranty, and it did take them 6 months of fighting to get the thing done, if you didn't have that warranty, you could be out a whole bunch of money. Ford has had a lot of problems with those 10-speed automatic transmissions. Now he's got almost 140,000 miles on it, so the second transmission obviously is held up from 60,000 to 140, and it's still working good, so hey, that shows that they fixed that problem. But if you would buy one of these, say, maybe it's only got 50, 60,000 miles on it. If it's still got the original transmission in it, I'd be kind of leery about buying it myself. Even though the engine doesn't have that problem, the transmission that this one came with had a problem with it. The newer ones obviously aren't. He's got all that mileage on the newer transmission. It's working perfectly fine. But it's something to think about if you're going to buy one used. You'd want the records of it, how much mileage it has on it. Is it still the original transmission? Has it been replaced? You don't have to worry about the engine in the case of this, but you would have to worry about the transmission. Now, as we look at it overall, hey, it's a beautiful looking SUV. This is a high-level trim. Those seats are still in excellent shape, and the main reason that people buy these is because of the aforementioned 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. And they got enough windows in the back, so the back people are relatively comfortable too. And if you put those seats down, then you got all that space to put things if you're not carrying all the people. Driving here, North Carolina to Tennessee, got 21.5 miles a gallon. That's real gas mileage in the winter when it's colder outside. And he said that's the best that he gets. Don't expect to get phenomenal gas mileage, even though this has that 10-speed transmission. And it kind of amazes me, because it went to all those speeds, and you think, oh, that's going to get phenomenal gas mileage. No, it doesn't. That's why a lot of companies are going away from multi-speeds. Some of them are going back to 6 speeds. They found out that 10 speeds, it costs a lot of money, and they have problems, as this one exploded, and he got a new one free because he had the warranty. If he didn't, it would have cost a ton of money. But the advantage of adding all those 10 gears really doesn't make much sense, especially in the case of this one. If you think about it, you think, okay, it only gets 21.5 miles a gallon, but that 10-speed transmission went out. The money that it would cost, it would take a lifetime of gasoline savings to pay for the transmission itself, right? So maybe they should have stuck with 6 speeds, or 4 speeds. 10 speeds is basically a little bit too much, and they're all pretty much discovering that now. Now, I do have to say, this particular model, except for the transmission, shows that Ford has been improving. The original Explorers had all kinds of problems, right? And their nickname were the Ford Exploders. But I mean, as an aside, I do have to say, the transmission did explode on this thing. Now, after they put another one in, hey, it's gone from 60,000 to, 80,000 more, and that is running fine. So obviously they fixed that problem, even though the first one did blow up. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to get out the big scan tool and see what's actually going on inside. Put the key on, he's got some cool graphics. And here we go. It's already picked it up. Explorer EcoBoost 3-liter automatic. All right, we'll scan the whole thing. Here we go. While it's doing it, we'll look inside. Very clean. He's taking care of it. Does have that 10 speed. You can go automatic or you can push the manual button. Cool little paddle shifters. if you want to shift it by hand. Do it pretty fast. It's got 4 codes, so we'll start here. And we'll look at the trouble code. Lost communication with seat control module G. Well, they often do that. Doesn't mean anything. Battery could have been low, so we'll just erase that code for the time being. So now we'll go back and look at the other ones. Occupant classification system module. And we'll see what that trouble code is. Communication with the seat control module, that crazy thing again. So we'll erase that one. Driver up, down, mirror feedback code, a crazy one. It moved the mirror up and down. It works, so we'll erase that stupid code too. Power steering module. Lost communication with parking assist control module A. Yet another crazy thing. So we'll erase that too. Alrighty, so let's start her up. Sounds good. And we'll look at some live data. Remember, black is good, red is bad. Giving us a whole bunch of AC information. He's not having any problems with that. Everything's black, everything's good so far. This is how complex these cars are getting. It's showing all this information on the active grille shutter. I mean, look at all this system. Just so they get a little bit better gas mileage when they open or close. There, now we're getting some serious stuff. The camshaft. As you can see, we're still in the A's. We got a long way to go. All right. Barometric pressure, the boost data for the turbochargers, those are still working fine. They're not making any noises. The cat temperatures are exactly the same. They're working fine. Everything's still good. Now you can see you more or less need to be a computer scientist to work on cars. Now look at this data. Electric fan load shed operation event counter. Increments the start of a load shed event. Even tells you the cooling span speed. The desired, it's 0 now because it's not hot yet, it's cold. It even shows you the engine exhaust flow rate. So, unlike the old vehicles, that old Scotty'd have to go take an oxygen sensor off, which is a pain in the butt, hook up my pressure gauge. This has the gauges built in. So let's say your catalytic converter is getting clogged up. It would show the exhaust pressure would be going way too high because the cat was clogged, and it would show you which one was clogged too. Pretty good information. And that's normal, so let's see if anything else is weird here. Even shows you how many grams per second the engine is using. Realize this is GDI fuel injection, complex system, but when it works, they run great. And look at this. The equivalency ratio is 1, which is perfect. Hey, this thing's got 126,977 miles on it, and it's still running perfect. Usually even in a Toyota or a Lexus, it'll be 0.99, not 1. Evap system's fine. Warming up now. Gives you the fuel rail pressure. Look at that. There's the pressure and there's desired. It's pretty close. 2060, 21, 2070. Hey, it's just spot on for the mileage that it's got on it. No fault in any of the injectors. Now these injectors are very hard to get to. So running actual tests with my freeze frame oscilloscope, it is a bear. This already has that information there. The software is analyzing it the whole time. So if you think, oh gee, maybe I got a bad injector, it would show you which injector it was just by looking at this data. And we'll go through some more. You can see how much data we have. We're only at the F's, people. Now we got transmission and generator information, and that's all good. Notice it's all black. More grill information for the grill shutter. They really got carried away with that stuff. Transmission about shifts, shift flare speed. It's 0 because it's not having any flares. So if your transmission's acting up and giving you bad shifts, so they're flaring out, this not only shows you that it's acting up, but it'll show you which gear is acting up, and in this case they aren't, which means the transmission that they put in like 60,000-70,000 miles ago is still working fine. So they obviously fixed the flaw in the original one. And here again, look at this, the long-term fuel trim, it's 0 on both. It's running perfectly, and it's got the great cameras. Look at that. I'm not going to run into anything because I can see the sides and the back, and I love this top view. The top view, you don't have to worry about hitting things because you get to see what's next to you too. Very smooth idle. It is that 10-speed automatic. It's shifting fine now, though. It's going to cost him $6,000-7,000 for that transmission if he had to pay for it. He's lucky he had that warranty, even though it did take him 6 months to fix it. It's got nice handling. You really don't feel like you're driving a 6-row SUV. It's comfy, but it's got tight enough handling. The electronic power steering is pretty responsive. It's not particularly under or over steering. We'll take it slow so the guy in front of us gives us some space when we take off here. Tire pressure monitor's up there showing you the tire pressure. That's working fine. And again, there's nobody behind us, so here we go. You feel those turbos kicking in? Nice acceleration. V6, but it's got a lot of power. It's got the power of an old V8 for sure. You want to pass somebody? Here we go. 30, we'll floor it. You can see it picks up speed pretty quickly. It's got plenty of passing power. Those twin turbos are doing their job. And they got 126,000 miles on them. They're still working fine. They've never been touched. Now, as I said, this was the best-selling three-row SUV in the United States last year, 2024. So they're selling a lot of these. And the 2024s, I have yet to see any of their transmissions going out like this 2020 did. I mean, he had to have the whole transmission replaced. Lucky he bought that extra warranty because he bought it secondhand. Turning radius here. Anybody coming? Nope. Good turning radius. I didn't have to back up or anything. Spun around for a three-row SUV. It's got a decent turning radius. That V6 with the twin turbo sounds pretty good. Doesn't sound wimpy. Doesn't sound like a four-cylinder turbo, that's for sure. And we're going at a relatively high speed in this turn. No problems whatsoever. If you're going to buy one of these used, I would definitely say buy the extended warranty. Make sure it covers the transmission, because it would have cost them $6,000 or more to fix that thing. That's a very expensive job, and I'm not a big fan of those 10 speeds. When they work okay, but when they break, they cost a fortune to replace, and they're still using the 10-speed automatics in them. Now, if you got a warranty for this for the transmission, otherwise it's in excellent shape. Runs like a top. Everything goes like it should. But if he wouldn't have bought that warranty, he even told me, he said, I would have gotten rid of that thing then. I'm not gonna put that money in something I just bought used, and the transmission went out 10,000 miles later at 60,000 miles. So always keep that in the back of the mind when you're thinking about these Explorers. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.